Would you like to go over some questions and concepts that you might see on your upcoming teacher certification exam? Well, my name's Andrew Wade, and I'm the social studies specialist here at the Learning Liaisons. Before we get into any questions, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Learning Liaisons YouTube channel. And if you're ready, let's go ahead and get into some concepts. All right, moving into our next domain, let's talk about Texas history. All right. There are three domains that we're going to focus on for this whole part right here. We have exploration and colonization, the area and how it came to be. Then we have independence, statehood, Civil War, Reconstruction. It sounds like a lot, but it kind of flows together. It'll make sense. And then the last one is Texas in the 20th and 21st centuries. Now, a lot of this is going to sound similar to our competency on U.S. history, but we're only going to focus on Texas for this part. All right, let's get started. For the exploration and colonization, you're going to need to focus on the Spanish colonial period. Now, there's going to be a few key individuals that you're going to encounter, such as Alvar, Nunez, Cabeza, Vaca, and basically all the people who encountered native tribes in the early 16th century. Natives you should be aware of are the Gulf, Plains, Puebloan, and Southeastern groups. Okay, they're sectioned into different areas of what would become Texas, and you're going to need to know that each of them lived different styles of life based on the geography surrounding them. Now, as this time period comes to an end, Americans such as Moses Austin make their way into the area. What is Texas was mostly uninhabited by Spaniards, so they were willing to open up to Americans looking to settle in the area. This transitions us nicely into our next domain, which is the independence, statehood, Civil War, and Reconstruction eras. The Americans were at odds with Mexican officials because they did not want to speak Spanish. They did not want to be governed by Mexico, and they also allowed slavery in their territory. All three opposite of what Mexico had asked of them. You should know about the law of April 6, 1830, because this is what outlawed future immigration into the Texas territory. The Texans didn't listen. Because of this, things escalated into the Texas War for Independence soon after. You need to know about a few key battles, such as the Siege of the Alamo. Everyone remembers the Alamo, right? You should also know about the Massacre at Goliad, and you need to know when General Santa Anna surrendered at the Battle of San Jacinto. That ended the war, that secured independence for the Republic of Texas. But it was not long before they petitioned to be annexed by the United States. Well, the United States finally did admit them. They were admitted into the Union on December 29, 1845. But this too is also short-lived because Texas seceded and joined the Confederacy to fight the American Civil War in 1861. During the Civil War, Texas contributed generals such as John Bell Hood and John Magruder to the Confederacy. But they weren't immune to the battles. You should also be aware of the Battle of Galveston and the final battle of the Civil War, the Battle of Palmito Ranch. Conflicts between natives and settlers occurred before the Civil War, but the number grew as the number of settlers increased during Reconstruction. So, during this time, be aware of the Texas Rangers and the Buffalo Soldiers who were tasked with protecting the settlers during this time. Buffalo soldiers being African Americans sent to fight. Moving into the third and final domain of Texas in the 20th and 21st centuries, you need to know that the major events of U.S. history also impacted Texas. Texas fought in every major conflict during this time. Future presidents came from Texas. Lyndon B. Johnson, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush came from Texas. What about their industries? Well, the petroleum and gas industries have pushed the economy of Texas to prosperous levels, but they're not alone. There were other industries as well, such as those in commercial agriculture like cotton, citrus, beef, and dairy. As we move further into the 21st century, contemporary Texas is made up of the computer and medical advancement fields as well. Truly a diverse economy. So, that's a rundown of Texas history, but let's look at some practice questions and see how you did on your pre-quiz.